Good morning to everyone that is watching. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday, TGIT. Thank goodness it's Thursday. As I always say, I've never been so happy to see a Thursday in all of my life. Today is Thursday, May 21st, 2020, and we are going to be practicing how to identify the parts of an argumentative essay. Now, all this week, we have been talking about the elements of an argumentative essay. We have discussed the different types of papers that you could write, but we've solely been focusing on the argumentative essay. And I heard a ding, so I want to acknowledge who has just joined us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I definitely appreciate it. Today's class will not be long because we are just going to be practicing the parts and some of the do's and don'ts of writing an argumentative essay. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so let's see. Now what I'm going to do. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Not yet. All right. So again, it is very important that you make sure that you are doing the assignments that is on the playback after each video. Um, some of you all, if you have been watching it, that's wonderful. However, it's even better for you to do the assignments. And again, if you are running across any technical difficulties, if you're running across any, computer issues or internet issues, there is no reason why you could not reach out to me and let me know these things. And so I could have made provisions for you. But if you are just simply watching these videos and not doing the work, again, you're doing yourself a serious and a strong disservice. Okay? So it's very important, again, that you make sure that you are doing all of the work and doing what you can to prepare yourself for taking your tests. Okay? It's very, very important. I cannot stress that enough. The importance of making sure that you are doing your work. The videos are just not for show and tell. The videos have purpose, the videos have meaning, and it's very important again that you make sure that you are doing the assignments. Now, if you are having trouble with understanding the assignments, please reach out to me. Okay, because at this point in the game, there's really no room for excuses and there's really no room for error. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence and doing what is asked of you. Okay. Now, as you can see, and you probably can't see it, but I have just uploaded a paper, an argumentative essay paper. And what I want to do is I want to go over the um the different formats again that you could potentially see as you continue to, if you go to college or if thinking about, expanding your education, you will see different types of essays in different formats. So I want to just go over that and just to let you know that there are different formats that you will more than likely be able to see. Okay. Good morning, Toolbar. That's my friend. All right. So we're going to zoom in. I don't want to zoom in too much. Okay, so let me, zoop, sorry about that. All right, so all right. I wish there was a way that I could stretch it so that way everybody can kind of see it. Because if I zoom in too much, then you probably won't be able to see. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started nonetheless. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that when you go to college, if you are thinking about going to college and you want to again, expand your educational horizons, again, you're going to see different types of formats that how papers can be written or how essays can be written. Okay, one of the ways is what I call a simple format, and you basically put your name, I guess your teacher's name, class, and the date. Okay, and if I scroll over, You're going to put your page number and I guess your last name and the page number. Now for your GED English essay, you do not have to do all of that. Simply because you are only going to have 45 minutes to read the two opposing topics or the subjects that are opposed to each other, and you're going to have to pick a side and you're going to have to talk about it. Okay, so in essence, you do not need to write um, this header, and you definitely do not need to write all of this right here. Now, for practice purposes, if your teacher tells you the way that you want that they want you to format the paper, then of course you would write all of this. But again, due to again showing you different types of formats as it relates to writing your papers, as it relates to the GED English exam, you do not have to write all of this. Okay. Also, you do not have to write a title. Okay, so again, this is just like a compare and contrast on the things you can do and the things you don't have to do as it relates to your paper. Okay, so it starts off by saying, are you hot? Are you cold? Are you wearing that? Where's your books and your lunch and your homework at? Grab your coat and your gloves and your scarf and hat. Don't forget, you have to feed the cat. I'm guessing that this is some type of limerick or some type of poem because of the rhyming structure that they used. Okay. Now, this is a good attention grabber for a narrative. However, when it comes to your argumentative essay, you don't have to write all of that. As a matter of fact, I would encourage you not to, because again, narratives tell stories. Okay. Argumentative essays, you need to prove a point. You need to pick a side and stick with it and defend what you have chosen. Okay. So we're just going to continue on. Okay. Move that so that way I can see. Okay. All right, so I think that's good right there. All right, so it says Anna Winfrow wrote these catchy words for the song Momisms. Okay, so that lets you know that that's a song sung to the familiar tune of the William Tell Overture. Her words best describe a typical day of mayhem through the eyes of a mother. Mothers who stay home know at times their lives can be discombobulating. Despite the chaos, stay-at-home mothers get the tremendous responsibility of only having one chance of raising their children in such a way that makes a difference in their children's lives and in society. Now, this would be what we would call our introductory paragraph because it's introducing us to what the essay is about. Okay? Now, so far, we've discovered that we're not sure if this is an argumentative essay or not. Even though it says argument paper, we are not sure if this is in fact an argumentative essay. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to skim through and we're going to continue to pick out key elements in certain parts to determine whether or not this is indeed an argumentative essay. Because remember, this could very well be a narrative. So we'll see. Okay. Says throughout history, society has looked upon the male as the breadwinner, the one, okay, the one expected to work and support the family. The mother has been viewed as the nurturer, the one to stay home and raise the children. During the 1960s, women wanted more rights, power, and the ability to get higher paying jobs. Women were given this right so that they expressed this newfound freedom by going to work outside of the home. As women sought employment, their children were left to the care of babysitters and daycare workers. Because society has redefined the role of a mother to be one who is an important element in the workforce, the loss of the mother in the home has led to the, and I guess we have to go to the next page. Okay. has led to the decline of the family unit and thus to society. This forfeiture has created a generation for whom social morals and values are not as important as they once were. Perhaps this is due to a working mother being absent from the home where she is unable to personally instill these ethical standards in her children, thus leaving her children to receive their value system from strangers. Society truly does begin at home, asserts Sybil Neiman. So, in order to return to a culture with better morals and values, the importance of the role of the stay at home mother should be restored. In this way, stay at home mothers can improve society. Now, there's a couple of things, excuse me, that I would like to point out here. The first thing I would like to point out is if you are watching this as a playback video, you're going to see quotation marks. And basically, quotation marks are simply what they are. They are used to quote someone saying something. In an argumentative essay, you will not need that. Okay? So you're not going to need to use quotation marks. You're not going to need to quote anyone. You're not going to need to do any of that. Okay? Excuse me. Now, I remember right before the pandemic started, my English class had a discussion about should men stay home to, to take care of the household while women work. Okay, so this kind of goes in line, sort of kind of that discussion that we had. The majority of my students agreed that no, men should not stay home. Men are known as the breadwinners. Men are the providers, the protectors, because of what society has said. And so, with that, we talked about the different reasons why men should work or should not stay at home versus women working and staying at home. So, in essence, we learned different viewpoints. We learned different perspectives as it relates to men staying at home. Now, notice I said men and women. I didn't say husbands. I didn't say, boyfriends. I didn't say significant others. I simply just said men. So it depends upon also the relationship that that they have. So you could think of a husband and a wife. You can think of, I guess, a boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know, but it just solely depends on the relationship between the man and the woman. Okay. Another thing that I would like to point out, and I'm going to go back to this first page here. Okay. So far, and this is just a question for you to think about, do you think that we are still in the introductory paragraph? Because remember, an introductory paragraph is letting you know about the essay, is preparing you for what you will read as it relates to the essay. So the question that I have is this: are we still in the introductory paragraph, or do you feel that we have gone into the body of the paragraph, which is a reason? Okay, so that's something for you to think about. It's a rhetorical question. You don't necessarily have to answer it, but it is something to think about. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue with reading this so that way you can see or you can hear the difference in the formatting between the argumentative essay and a regular essay. It is disappointing when mothers are devalued for staying at home to raise their children. Richard Lowry states, now again, in an argumentative essay, you do not have to cite what someone has said. Okay, so remember that because I'm going to come back to that. There is something valuable in a mother's caring for their own child. In general, no one can take your child. In general, no one can take care of your child in the same way his or her mother would. A mother's care is usually superior to daycare since she naturally wants what is best for her child. According to a nonpartisan public agenda survey in 2000, roughly 80% of parents with children 5 and younger say a stay at home parent is best able to give the children the affection and attention they need. Now, and as you can see here, if you're watching the playback video, it says quoted in Lowry 4. Again, when you are writing an argumentative essay, you do not need to write quotes. So automatically, this should let you know that this in turn is really not an argumentative essay. Okay. Now, the formatting should also let you know, because again, with argumentative essays, you do not have to quote anyone and you necessarily do not have to do research. Okay. So we can eliminate the fact that this is an argumentative essay. But we're going to keep reading because I want you to see I want you to compare and contrast the elements of an argumentative essay versus any other essay. A mother's individual care can also curb the aggression that is evident in daycare centers. A study done by the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development reports that kids in non-maternal care tend to be associated with such qualities as gets in a lot of fights, cruelty, explosive behavior, talking too much, argues a lot, and demands a lot of attention. Quoted in Lowry 1. And I'll explain what all these quotes and different things mean in a moment. Teachers who work in a preschool environment, like my daughter, are frustrated with how badly the children usually behave. Workers in daycare are governed by strict rules which prevent, and we have to go to the next slide. Disciplining children the way one can do at home. This causes a disregard and a loss of respect for others because many children grow up thinking that they can do what they want. Today, many of the younger generation act like they are owed something. That's called self-entitlement, or a sense of entitlement, excuse me, in the workplace. It is shocking to see the way they treat others with their degrading manners and think that there is nothing wrong with their behavior. They also tend to have lazy work ethics and a copping attitude when asked to do anything extra. This makes it difficult for the many employers to find hardworking and respectful employees. Now, I'm going to stop right here because there's so much that we can unpack from this, but I'm going to try to keep this as succinct as possible. Again, when an argumentative essay, and I will continue to say this because I want it to stick. When an argumentative essay, you have to pick a side. This is not, so far when I've read this, I am not getting the impression that a side has been picked. I could be wrong. If you are watching this playback video and you disagree, please leave your comment in the comment section and let us have a discourse about it in the comment section, okay? What I am getting from this so far is that this, again, is not an argumentative essay. It is not an argumentative essay simply because, number one, you are using quotes and you're quoting someone off of what they said based on the research that you may have found, okay? So again, with argumentative essays, you don't have that. Now, I will say this is written in third person, okay? So this is written in the third person objective. They are using the, pull this up real quick. They are using third person pronouns the way one can do at home. They also have a tendency, it, they. So all of these are third person pronouns. So remember, when you are writing your essay, you must write in a third person objective. You have to write in a third person type format. Okay. So far, I can say that we have not seen anything in first person. We haven't seen I, me, my. We haven't seen that. So that's wonderful. And that's the way you want to keep your essay. You want to make sure that you are using the correct pronouns. I'm going to try to put this up here. Okay, so that way. Uh-oh. All right. So let us continue with this. I believe we are almost done with this essay. And then we're going to decide what kind of essay it really is. Because I am here to tell you this is not an argumentative essay. It is important to note that not all children in daycare grow up to be aggressive and unproductive adults. Even though many women in the workforce find raising children to be a very difficult task, which leaves them feeling lonely and bored, they do a fine job of balancing their jobs with raising successful children. These women enjoy being able to show their children the advantages of working outside the home. They are able to teach their children how to be independent, inquisitive, and ambitious, as well as learn the value of personal fulfillment and goal setting. Okay. Reed Kareem also proclaims that successful working mothers give their children one of the best gifts any parent can, the example of a life lived to its potential. I think that all of these examples are helpful in raising successful children. However, I believe a stay-at-home mom can also teach these same qualities in the home. I know this to be true because I was fortunate to remain at home and raise my children. I was the one who was the nurturer and demonstrated love and compassion to my children by hugging, cuddling, and kissing them. I was personally involved in teaching them throughout the stages of development and shared in the joy of my children's accomplishments. There is something special about hearing your child's first words and watching them take their first, and I'm going to assume it says steps. We're at the end, so let me see if I'm right. Step as they giggle with glee. I was able to mold my children's character by instilling good values and morals that taught them to be independent and set goals for themselves, such as being on time for work and appointments. These attributes have helped to contribute to society in a positive way and leave me feeling as if I have done a good job. Now I'm going to go back to the paragraph that I just read, and I'm going to underline some things. Okay, so if you're watching this playback video, stay with me. Now I'm going to start with this one. Oh, whoa, whoa! I didn't see that. All right, I didn't know that could happen. To be quite honest. Okay. Now, in quotes, it says, I think that all of these examples are helpful in raising successful children. However, I believe a stay-at-home mom can also teach these same qualities in the home. Now, the reason why I went ahead and I underlined that is because, again, Reed Kareem, I think I'm saying that name right. Reed Kareem is quoted by saying this. Again, you do not need quotes in your argumentative essay. The facts are going to be presented to you. You're going to pick a side, and you're just going to defend the reason why you chose that side. Now, again, I underlined this to show you that quotes can take up a lot of your paragraph, because depending on how long the quote is, depending upon how what the person had to say, it's very, it's indicative of the fact that quotes again take up a lot of your paper. So I say all of that to say this: as it relates to writing papers, there are different formats that are out there. But for the intents and purposes of the GED program, you are not going to write these types of essays. Okay. If anything, this would be more of an informative essay because research and quotes and numbers are involved. I want to say back in the first paragraph, or maybe the second one, it said 80% of something. So anytime you see facts and you see figures and you see the different types of quotes that someone else has said to support what it is that you're saying, this is more of an informative essay. Okay. Okay, so this is more of an informative essay. So I want you to see and compare the differences between an argumentative essay and an informative essay. And this is a perfect example of an informative essay. Okay. Despite the seemingly successful results of a stay-at-home mom's efforts, our culture no longer values the household supported by a sole breadwinner. And that's from Neiman 3. Now let me stop right here. What you see in parentheses is how you would cite in an informative essay or a research paper. So I'm going to, moving forward, I'm actually going to call this a research paper because with research papers, you research, okay? So as you see here, I have parentheses and the last name, and this might be a page number. More than likely, it is a page number, okay? So this represents where the quote was taken or where this person got the quote from. Okay. So you always want to, when you're writing an informative essay or research paper, you always want to make sure that you give credit. If not, that means you have plagiarized, and that's a very big deal. It's very, very serious. So to plagiarize simply means to copy or to write something that is not of your words, is not your work, is not your own. Okay. You've basically taken someone's idea and just put your name on it without giving them credit. And you do not want to be, you don't want to be that guy or girl that does that, especially in college, because that can have strong, serious implications and you could get in serious trouble with that. Okay. According to Neiman, everything from buying a house to applying for a college loan for one son or daughter seems structured around the two income family. A household that has a dual income helps boost many families into middle class, says Kareem. This allows their children to experience the comforts, options for education, and opportunities that they might have otherwise not had. Okay. Where is my cursor? Okay. Okay. So again, we are finding research and we are finding information that is supporting our topic, but we're not arguing anything. So I want to make sure that you see the difference. We're not arguing anything. Okay. It was and this is the other key too. Was a question brought up? Argumentative essays have questions. Okay, so remember, you have your question and then you have your answer where you will have to pick a side. With this particular essay, there was no question. So that's one of the things that you have to look out for in making sure that you and making sure that you can pinpoint and recognize the difference. Okay, we have 2 more pages, and then after that, we're just going to wrap this up and put a pretty little bow on it. When men and women are happy and comfortable in their roles as the father, breadwinner, and mother caregiver, marriages can thrive. Did I finish? Hold on. Did I finish reading? I felt like I didn't. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. That's why I was like, that didn't sound right. Okay. As tempting as this extra income may be, couples should be careful that this does not impact their relationship as husband and wife. When spouses compete for power in the workforce, and then return home too tired to deal with the many needs of their children, the harmony of the family unit can suffer. This is because husbands often feel threatened by the success of their wives. Stephen Rhodes claimed that men are more likely to divorce women who are ambitious. Lowry explains that just the specter of divorce creates a kind of intramarital arms race. The wife works to hedge against getting abandoned. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. But her very work of acting, research shows, more than likely that the marriage will fail, a dismaying downward spiral. Since divorces negatively impact society, we should refocus on preserving marriage and on strengthening the family unit. Okay. Okay, and I want you to pay special attention to this. I want you to remember that. All right, now we're on the right page. When men and women are happy and comfortable in their roles as the father breadwinner and mother caregiver, marriages can thrive. Women who do remain at home should not hide behind their children or a husband, but instead should be proud of their role. They should be vocal about how productive they are with their children and family. This allows working women and men to see and appreciate the importance of a role of a stay at home mom. Perhaps they will see for themselves the advantages of remaining home and raising their children. According to Lowry, most women would like to stay home and care for their children, but society pressures them into believing that a career is more important than family. Unless some changes are made, the family unit will continue to decline. Less time spent with children building character increases the risk for disregarding and disrespecting others. The current attitudes of "you owe me," "I deserve it," and as well as "it's all about me" will probably continue to get worse. Even though being a stay-at-home mom may have periods of loneliness, boredom, and frustration, and feelings of futility, the rewards of being personally involved with raising one's own children greatly outweigh the negatives. One of the greatest accomplishments in life is being a stay-at-home mom where one can teach and model good behavior and moral fortitude. By emulating these morals and values, children enter into adulthood with the necessary tools to needed to produce a successful society. As tough as this unpaid task may be, the self sacrifice of staying at home to raise one's children can be the most, make sure I didn't miss a word there. Okay, be the most society enhancing job a woman can do. Now, I circled this earlier. Works cited. When you have an argumentative essay, there is no works cited page. There isn't. So again, this is not an argumentative essay. I am showing you again the different types of essays that are out there, but I want you to solely focus on the elements of an argumentative essay. And again, if you desire to go to college, or if you again desire to expand your educational endeavors and you take an English class, there are different types of essays that are out there. This essay is more so an informative one. Okay. So this is an informative essay, or some people may call it a research paper. That's really what that is. Okay. So this is an informative essay. Okay. Slash research paper. Okay. So works cited, and I want to show you this very, very quickly, and then we are going to end today's session. So a works cited page is basically you giving credit to where you found all of your quotes and your research. Okay. Now I'm not going to get into the formatting so much of a works cited page because again, you don't really necessarily have to worry about it. But I would like to show you um, what it looks like. Okay. Okay. So this is what a works cited page looks like. And basically a works cited page again is simply where you found your research, where you found the evidence, where you found the information to support your topic. Okay. So again, argumentative essays don't need all of this. Again, I just wanted to show you what it actually looked like. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll down. Okay. So you, of course, this is a website. So you can use a website as a source, of course. You can also use online journals. You can use online newspaper articles. You can, of course, use books, encyclopedias, but a lot of things are switching from hardback to online. Okay, and so there are different ways that you could format this particular works cited page. But again, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So it looks like the majority of these sites or the majority of the information came from online because we have I was getting ready to say a website, but I'll go ahead and say it because we have this here. Okay. Okay. So in essence, that is, I wanted to show you the difference between an informative essay and a argumentative essay. Now, if you were not in class on yesterday and you did not do the assignment, this today's session probably won't make as much sense. But it is very important that again, you make sure that you are doing these assignments. I cannot stress enough the importance of you understanding and making sure that you know the difference between an informative essay and an argumentative essay. Okay. All right. Do, 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 do. All right. So I guess it was right here. All right. And I got this essay. Um I believe it was mesacc.org. The link will be where I got this particular essay from. It will be in my pinned comment section because again, I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. And they also have other types of formatted essays. They also have different types of examples of how you can write different essays. So I strongly encourage you, once the video is uploaded, you check the pinned comment section and you click on the link and it will come up to where you can just take a gander at all the different types of essays that are out there. But again, I want to make sure that you all understand the elements and the formatting of an argumentative essay. So please make sure you watch Tuesday's video as well as Wednesday's video from the playback playlist. So that way you can understand the difference between that particular essay and what we discussed today. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share. All right. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. There is no assignment today. Technically, there's not an assignment, but again, I do want you to make sure that you have done the assignments. So again, if you have not done any assignments, that's really going to be your assignment to do all of this week's assignments. So that way I can check them and make sure that you are on the right trajectory or the right path of doing a great job. Because again, if you don't do the work, I don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. And furthermore, you're not studying, you're not preparing, you're not taking this seriously. Then Ms. Hampton honestly can't help you. Okay. I help those who help themselves. So again, if you have any issues, if you have any, situations and circumstances that are not allowing you to do the work, please reach out and talk to me. Okay, that's very, very important. Communication goes a long way, and we talked about communication last week in the with the Georgia's Best modules. Okay, so again, please reach out and make sure that you are understanding the importance of doing this work. All right, so I don't have anything else. Again, thank you, Brittany, for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your consistency. And please make sure that if you have not had a chance to do the assignments, please make sure that you do those. Okay, they are due by noon today. So that's just kind of what that is. All right. So, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording, upload this video for you all, so that way you all can have an opportunity to watch the playback videos. Again, make sure if you would like to leave a comment, let me know how the videos are great, what it is that I can do to improve or change or whatnot. Please let me know. I am not above reproach by any means. Okay. So, with all of that being said, Ms. Hampton loves each and every one of you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I pray that you all continue to stay safe. I pray that you all continue to adhere to the guidelines as it relates to going back out into the world and with social distancing and all that good stuff. Um, and if you don't have to go out, just stay in. If you don't have to go, just stay in. All right. So one more thing. Monday there is no class. Monday is Memorial Day, so I will not be logging in. So you can take that time to relax, eat some barbecue, pay homage, if you will, to the fallen soldiers of of the military, and or you can go back and watch all these playbacks and catch yourself up. That's what I would do if it were me, but I'm not y'all, so worry about it. Okay. So again, there's no class on Monday. I will see you all on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Okay, bright, early, and sharp. So I want you all to have a wonderful and blessed weekend, and I will see you all then. Bye. I like that.